Why is it that the best performing fragrances, I mean the fragrances that last for 24 hours, the ones that project into every single corner of every single room, the ones that always smell the worst? Well, that doesn't always have to be the case. There are a very rare select few fragrances that have absolutely amazing performance, but also smell amazing and will definitely, hopefully, get you compliments. If you're over 6 feet tall, make over 6 figures, and good looking, of course. So here are 7 fragrances that I think smell absolutely insanely good, but also have 10 out of 10 performance. Let's start with a fragrance that is so underrated, just in general, in terms of smell, in terms of price, and in terms of performance. Versace Eros Flame. This fragrance in 2025, it's been out for so long now, and it still has just never gotten the hype and attention it deserves. This smells like the original Versace Eros, but take away that prepubescent 16-year-old high school locker room vibe and instead add in like some citrusy, spicy sexiness. It smells like a sexy, rosy blood orange fragrance, made masculine. It's insanely good. But I think a lot of people can appreciate the smell, but a lot of people don't talk about how freaking well it performs. Unlike the original Versace Eros, to my knowledge, this has never gone through any kind of reformulation. It lasts 10 hours on my skin personally, and on clothes, I get literally like unlimited longevity. Like I have multiple pairs of clothes in my closet right now that still smell of this fragrance. It just sticks on clothing. Projection, I wouldn't say is like it's not a beast mode fragrance, but 4 to 5 sprays, everybody will be smelling you. Like this is one you do not want to overspray, especially in the summertime. When you pair the really, really nice and unique smell with the great performance, just the longevity, the projection, it also does get compliments. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a super complimented fragrance in my rotation, but I've gotten like 1 or 2 in the past 1 or 2 years. Don't blind buy this one. It is quite unique. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. If you're a cool kid like me, you'll love it. And you'll also come to appreciate that it's a lot stronger than most people give it credit for. Not to mention, this thing is like $50 on discounters. There's so many great, quirky, amazing things about this fragrance that I keep forgetting. It's cheap. It smells great. It lasts a long time. It's got a cool bottle. I'm just glazing now, but it's great. Mancera Amore Caffe. Earlier this video, I was holding up Mancera Red Tobacco when I was kind of talking about fragrances that last and project a lot, but they smell terrible. This lasts a long time, projects super well, and smells amazing. If you want to smell literally like an edible espresso, not espresso, what's the affogato? You know, the vanilla ice cream with the espresso poured on top? If you want to smell like a coffee vanilla ice cream, this is the fragrance for you, and the projection does not hold back at more. This fragrance takes no prisoners. Once you spray this on, you need to be careful that you're wearing the fragrance and the fragrance isn't wearing you, because it literally just takes over your entire 5-meter radius around you. It is crazy. One of the strongest fragrances in my entire collection. The longevity isn't the best. It's like 8 hours, so still decent, but the projection is just next level. Like you're just going to smell edible and yummy. This is not going to be for the traditional masculine man. This is for the guy that can get a bit out of his comfort zone, get a little bit fruity with it, because a chick could definitely pull off this fragrance. Perfectly unisex, in my opinion. The name Amore Caffe, I don't know what Amore means, but yeah, you're going to be smelling like a cafe that serves vanilla caramel drizzled ice cream. Delicious fragrance. Plus, it's a Mancera too, so you get the beautiful pressurized atomizer, magnetic cap, great performance like every Mancera, and just great value for money too. Like these can be under $100 on discounters. The next fragrance on this list is Club de Nuit Precieux. Now this smells like Creed Aventus Absolute. I still have not smelled Creed Aventus Absolute, but from the people I've made try this, apparently it gets it very, very close. Creed Aventus Absolute, but made beast mode, essentially. So this is a clone, but it kind of doesn't fit the mold of most clones. Most clones get 80% close, really bad performance, and are really, really cheap. This one takes a higher price point, so around the $100 mark. You only get 55 ml liquid, but it's an extrait de parfum. Like, you spray this thing, oh, that hit my nuts. You can't see with the camera angle, but I just dropped that straight onto my nuts. At least it's only 55 ml, so it's not that heavy. As I was trying to say before it hit my crown of jewels, if you spray this on your hand, the oil, like if you spray it too close, your hand is going to be oily for the next 10 minutes. If you spray this on a white shirt, say goodbye to that shirt, because this thing is so concentrated in terms of the perfume oil that stain is never coming out. Although that might sound really inconvenient at first, spray this a good distance away, don't wear white clothing, and you're getting yourself a fragrance that lasts 15 hours on skin, unlimited amount of time on clothing, and just projects like a freaking beast. I wore this at a perfume event in New York a couple months ago, so it was super cold outside. Like, I'm talking 3 degrees, basically snowing. And 2 out of 3 of the days of the perfume event, I got a compliment with this fragrance. So I wore it 3 days in a row, 2 out of 3. That's 66.66% or something. That's a good ratio of compliments to no compliments. You do have to like really kind of dark, mature, citrusy, leathery type of fragrances to enjoy this one. But if you know you like the Creed Aventus smell, the Creed Aventus Absolute DNA, this is definitely worth picking up. You guys know by now how I feel about Xerjoff Erba Pure. An extremely beast mode performing fragrance that is just too feminine, too fruity, and just too musky and synthetic. But Xerjoff Erba Gold, fortunately, has taken the best parts of Erba Pure, kept them, and then tossed out all that disgusting synthetic mess parts of Erba Pure. The parts of Erba Pure that it has kept is, 1, the performance. It is just as strong as Erba Pure. I don't think the projection is quite as nuclear, but the longevity is still 15 to kind of like 20 hours, honestly, depending on how much you spray. Crazy longevity, and the projection is still strong enough where I can give this fragrance the beast mode tick of approval. It has also taken down how synthetic it is. This is still not a natural smelling fragrance by any means. It is still going to be too synthetic for a lot of people watching, but it is not just like ridiculously 7-Eleven slushy smelling synthetic. You know, it's still very sweet too. It's still got that creamy fruitiness, but it adds a more tropical mango vibe instead of just a fruity bomb. With the original Xerjoff Erba Pure, I can't even smell a particular fruit. It's just too much. This is a nice, slightly toned down version of it. It's still going to be too much and too powerful for some people, but it's just right for me. If you want a sweet, creamy, very tropical, punchy, in-your-face fragrance, Erba Gold might just be the one for you. The next fragrance on this list is actually the most affordable, and I'm not sure how a fragrance this cheaply priced can smell this good and perform this well. It still blows my mind to this date, even having owned this for almost a year now. Lattafa Khamrah by Lattafa. Like, no shit, Finn. I don't know what I'm on about with that one. But smell-wise, Killian's Angel Share. So picture Killian's Angel Share if you smelled it before. Boozy, cinnamon, warm, inviting, spicy vanilla. Take out the booziness, just leave a little bit of it there. Up the cinnamon and up the kind of rich, edible vibe of Angel Share. This is more gourmand in my opinion. It's definitely more sweet, but less spicy and less boozy. To me, this is just more mass appealing than Angel Share, just not as niche smelling. So for some people, they're actually going to like this more than Angel Share, and others are going to prefer Angel Share. Me personally, I like the booziness of the real thing, but this is still a very solid inspired by fragrance, and performance is actually stronger than Angel Share. I get around 10 hours longevity with well above average projection. Although this isn't the craziest strength fragrance in the world, for how cheap it is, I have to put it on this list. I mean, like, it is criminal how well this thing performs for how cheap it is. And if you don't own this in your collection, what are you doing? Click off this video, go to perfumeonline.ca and freaking buy it for like 25 bucks. Speaking of doing something criminal like not owning Lattafa Khamrah, it is criminal if you haven't already subscribed to the FB Fragrances YouTube channel. Become a part of our fragrance family. I swear I treat everyone here nicely. I do not do any kind of weird stuff, fragrance related or otherwise, to my subscribers. I think you should do it. City Rhythm Miami. Lattafa Khamrah is a cheap fragrance that performs amazingly. This is not a cheap fragrance. In fact, it's like $200 for a 50 ml. But if I was going to recommend a fragrance this expensive and not feel guilty about it, it would be this one. It is a beautiful tropical smelling summertime fragrance, but it has enough depth where you could use it all year round. Essentially what you're getting is a big blast of coconut and vanilla, but it also has a boozy rum note, which is just so unique. It's very rare you find a more summer oriented smelling fragrance with a boozy accord. I don't know how they've pulled it off, but City Rhythm have done it. Also, the liquid has like a beautiful shimmer to it. As you can see, I've completely chugged through the bottle, so I'm not sure if you can see it. But this fragrance is gorgeous. If I could describe this fragrance in 3 words, it would be tropical, creamy sexiness that a man or a woman could wear. If you've got money laying around and you want a unique, niche summer fragrance that performs amazingly and smells amazingly, get any City Rhythm fragrance. This one, City Rhythm Miami, is great, but my 2 favorites are actually Miami Tropical Confessions, which takes this smell profile and basically adds even more coconut, so it's going to be too heavy for some people. I'm a sucker for it though, and my number 1 favorite City Rhythm of all time is City Rhythm San Diego. This smells like Louis Vuitton's afternoon swim, so that really sweet sherbet orange, but just made more creamy and dense with way better performance. The final fragrance on this list of beast mode fragrances that still smell amazing is Stronger With You Tobacco. I love how I can talk about this stuff more now. It does kind of feel like I'm betraying Stronger With You intensely whenever I mention a Stronger With You that isn't intensely, but the guilt is slowly going away, and this is very quickly becoming my favorite from the Stronger With You line. This still does have a lot of similarities to Stronger With You intensely, and absolutely, don't get me wrong, big blast of vanilla, that toffee caramel vibe running throughout. The only main difference is that this does have a very noticeable tobacco note. Like, I appreciate how Armani kind of went slightly in the riskier route and did kind of put a very, not harsh tobacco note, but it still has that kind of ashtray vibe. But I mean, if you're going to call a fragrance Strong With You Tobacco, you better damn well be able to smell that tobacco, and they've done it in this, which I really appreciate. You also get a really nice kind of fruity, dry spiciness vibe from it. I love it, but the reason this is on the list and not Intensely, despite Intensely being very, very strong at performing, is that this is even better. I mean, 10 hours longevity with well above average projection. This is like a 3 spray type of fragrance. With Intensely, I feel like I can comfortably get away with 4 to 5 sprays and not annoy anyone. Anything more than 3 or 4 max with Strong With You Tobacco, people are going to be giving me the side eye, and not in a good way. That's going to wrap it up on this video on the strongest fragrances that still do smell amazing. 10 out of 10 performance, 10 out of 10 smell. It really just does not get better than that, does it? Like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, that's in my eyes.